Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders. This is the full bettable card predictions and betting preview. Mixing in some boxing. Been wanting to do this for a while, and I know some of you guys are interested. Make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think of the boxing predictions. If you're interested in seeing more, I'll keep it going. And for all the exciting boxing cards that are coming up, I will give my predictions and breakdowns. And we definitely can make some money off this card. Of course, it's boxing. A lot of heavy favorites. We're going to start it off with the first bettable fight on the card that I found. It was Keyshawn Davis versus Jose Antonio Meza Quinones. I will pull up their box recs because it is not 100% accurate as far as the records. They have Davis listed as having no professional experience, but he's actually 2-0. Let me quickly bring this up again. We got Canelo. Davis is here, 2-0. He's good as an amateur as well. Has a very good amateur background, actually. A Pan American silver medalist and a world champion silver medalist. So I guess world silver medalist. He wasn't the champion. He came in second place. He's very technical and has a very solid jab. From what I've seen for a guy with just 2 professional bouts, very patient and poised. Does have a ton of amateur experience. This is definitely not his full amateur record, but nearly 100 fights listed on BoxRec. He definitely has more than that on the amateur scene. 5'9", southpaw. Lots of things to like here about this kid. His opponent, not much to find on this guy. Jose Antonio Meza, blurry picture. He's 5'11" with a 74-inch reach, 6-4 as a pro. I really didn't find much about this kid. He's definitely an unknown. He's coming off of a loss against a debuting Dimitri Yun. Prior to that, though, does have a win over an 11-0-1 fighter, but who knows the competition level. Has some losses throughout. But at the end of the day, I think that the matchup here is safe to say it's going to be in the favor of Keyshawn Davis. The odds for this fight are insane. Minus 8,850, or rather minus 8,550 to plus 2,650. It's boxing. I say I like Davis. I like him to win this fight. I think he can do so definitely inside the distance. He should. Betting on this fight for that price tag is not pretty, and even if you throw it in your parlay, it's probably not going to get you much. If prop bets do open up and they're reasonable enough, I think Keyshawn Davis should be able to be the first man to win by stoppage against Antonio Meza. But we're going to find out. I'm going to predict he gets a stoppage in 5 rounds or less. I could see it around the 4th. The kid has good pop in the hands. He moves well, and he can make fighters quit. And I think Antonio Meza will be severely outclassed here. If he can go the distance, that would be impressive for him. But I don't think he's going to offer much resistance. But the bet on that fight is just terrible, seeing the odds. And that's the one downfall with boxing. Some of these odds we're going to see are disgusting to look at as far as how widespread they are. Frank Sanchez and Nagy Aguilera. He's not 0-0. That's another incorrect mark there by Tapology. I know Tapology is new to the boxing scene, but man, they got to get on top of these records. Because I would like to be able to just use Tapology, but I got to bounce around here between both. Nagy Aguilera, 21-10, has fought some good names, Antonio Tarver, and some other actual like notable fighters. Frank Sanchez, very good, beat Joey DeWaco. Has a actually pretty good amount of skills. I mean, he's an aggressive boxer with a very solid jab. He likes to set up those overhands. 13 wins by knockout out of his 17 wins. He's definitely a heavy-handed puncher who also likes to rip the body very well. Cuban fighter. They're very good at boxing. With Nagy, you have a journeyman heavyweight. He likes to close the distance and fight on the inside, and he's very aggressive. He mixes it up well inside, but the level difference is serious here. We'll look at the last couple for Aguilera, and then we'll look at the last couple for his opponent, Terrell Jamal Woods. This guy's on almost every boxer's record. He's got a ton of fights, but he's durable. 6 rounds with a guy with that bad of a record. Honestly, I've seen Jamal Woods. He's actually pretty decent. It's just he's not upper class and, winning. He got a stoppage in 4 rounds against Sergey Wadajeko. Also has a bad loss by decision to Dominic Brazil and Gerald Washington. Adamek beat him. Lots of losses throughout the career. Is known as being fairly durable, though. I mean, you only see 3 knockout losses out of the 10. Frank Sanchez, a guy with pop in his hands. I think if he wants to move towards contendership and make himself a legitimate player in the heavyweight division, you need a knockout over Nagy Aguilera, who's 21-10 and way over the hill at this point. I do think he gets it. I like knockout round 5 for Frank Sanchez. If they have prop bets, I like that. If he stops it later, like 7, 8, or even 9, I don't think that's necessarily a great look for him. I do definitely think he wins. He has the physical attributes to do so. He's in much better shape. He's the younger man. He's the better boxer by a significant margin. The odds for this fight, minus 4,500, plus 1,500. If you want to prop bet all these strong favorites, I mean, hopefully one of them doesn't get caught with some crazy punch. I doubt Sanchez will here against Aguilera, but at minus 4,500 is a disgusting price tag, and that's one of the issues with a lot of boxing. It's really more prop heavy, and we don't have any props available just yet. But I do like Sanchez winning the fight in 5 rounds or less. He should be able to do so. 7 rounds or less to be on the safe side, but for his career to really move forward, I think a 5 rounds or less knockout would definitely give him the nice push towards being a more notable name in the heavyweight division, because he does have the skills to be very good. I just think he needs an impressive win here to really push it the right way. Kieron Conway, Suleiman Kisheko. This fight's for the super welterweight WBA Intercontinental belt. You don't know that much about boxing. If you're more of an MMA fan and you're just watching my video about boxing, there's a ton of belts. This right here is a big belt, but it's not a world championship. It's still a major regional title here. Kisheko definitely has the momentum in his favor. I mean, the guy has a very good amateur pedigree, bronze medalist, good straight punches. And he does have some knockout power in the hands. 8 wins by KO on the record. Lots of speed. Mixes it up to the body and head very well. I mean, for a guy with how many fights? 12 fights, 8 wins by knockout. That's pretty good. He's really improving a lot each and every fight. And this is a very stern test. Kieron Conway is a legitimate United Kingdom domestic level fighter. I mean, he can fight. He's orthodox. He has a decent jab. And he likes to double it up. He likes to set up overhands too, and he does do a lot of feinting. Not a lot of power though. 16-1-1, only 3 knockout wins. He's a volume/combo puncher, and he's not known for finishing fights. He just isn't. Not having much of a knockout threat, I think Suleiman's going to be able to walk him down throughout this fight. I think he's going to put on a dominant display. I'm pretty sure we have 10 rounds here, not 12. Yes, it's 10 rounds because it is an intercontinental belt rather than a world title. I think Suleiman Kisheko wins this fight by TKO in round number 8. Conway is game. He's skilled, but Kisheko is going to stop him here in 8 rounds. The odds for this fight, thank goodness, are a little bit closer. Minus 350 to plus 250. I like Suleiman Kisheko, the minus 350 favorite. He has the tools to do so. If you can throw a prop bet, buy a stoppage. I do think that's realistic here, but Conway can box and he could potentially go the distance still. I do think there's a case to be made for Suleiman Kisheko getting a stoppage here. At the end, we'll talk about some prop bet ideas because we might have to prop up some of these strong favorites because goddamn, those odds are widespread. Boxing, that's the boxing game. Elwin Soto and Katsurinori Takayama. World light flyweight title. 12 rounds of action here. Big age difference. 13 years younger is Elwin Soto. His opponent almost 38 years of age. And Takayama, stylistically, both guys are actually very skilled. With Soto, he's orthodox, definitely a pressure boxer who likes to enter the pocket with the high guard. And he does throw a lot of power in his hooks. He mixes it up well. He moves very fast. I mean, he's a very light guy. He's going to have a ton of speed, but he actually has power. 12 wins by knockout. You look at Takayama, very fast starter, especially though fighting in some of these lesser high-level promotions over in Japan. Sometimes it's 6-round fights. I believe his last fight was a 6-rounder. Lacks a bit of punching power, only 12 wins by knockout and having 32 wins on the resume. But he does box at an extremely high level and he is efficient with volume punching, a solid jab. He moves very well and he attacks the body. In my opinion, I do see this fight probably going to distance. I think Elwin Soto wins this fight. If I have to give you an exact scorecard, I think realistically it's 9 rounds to 3. I could also see 8-4, but I think more like 9 rounds to 3. We might even see, even if the rounds are close, they're going to go to Soto. We might see it 10 rounds to 2 here, but I think Elwin Soto is an absolute lock pick. The odds for this fight, again, they're going to be pretty widespread. Minus 1,500 to plus 700. We're going to need to prop some things up, so stay tuned for the parlays after we talk about the card here. But man, I like parlay additions here. I don't love the straight up bets. If you can parlay on your bookie, you're probably going to want to do that. Unfortunately, we're only going to have props for the main event release right now, but we do have another fight to talk about before we get to that main event. But I'll say Elwin Soto. I think he's a fun name, somebody to keep an eye on here in the flyweight division, or rather light flyweight division. He's a fun fighter to watch. I know that weight class doesn't always get the American fan base going, but there's actually a lot of skilled boxers in that weight class. Now, next fight, Kid Galahad and Jazza Dickens 2 rematch. They fought several years ago. Galahad recently had a split decision loss to Josh Warrington, and he is a very good boxer. And I mean, a lot of people felt Galahad could have won that fight. Dickens, good fighter in his own right. This fight for the IBF World Featherweight title, it is vacant. I am excited to see how these guys work over 12 rounds in this rematch. Great opportunity for Jazza Dickens here to fight for this world title belt. Let's look at the odds quickly. Minus 325 is Galahad to plus 250. At least they're a bit closer, but still fairly widespread here. Let me bring up some notes from this fight with Dickens. You have a southpaw who works a very good double jab, and he does fight pretty well on the inside, mixes it up to the body and head at a high level, and he's definitely a volume puncher. I'll quickly pull up his record because I do want to talk about some recent opponents from both these guys. Tapology, if you get it right, we won't be using these other sites. So Tapology, we need you to come through here. You know what? I'm going to have to look them up because I don't even think BoxRec has this fight listed as being confirmed, but the promotion house has confirmed it. I don't know. James Jazza Dickens. Let's look at him real quick. See, it's not even on Tapology, or rather BoxRec, but it's listed as being official. So we'll find out if it happens on Fight Night, but I do believe, and there is bettable options, so BoxRec just hasn't updated. 11 knockouts, so not a ton of power in the hands of James Dickens. Has decent pop, but definitely more of a volume puncher. You look at his opponent, they did fight before, as I mentioned. Let me see if I can find him. Kid Galahad, they fought in 2013, and TKO in round number 10 for Kid Galahad. You see that loss to Josh Warrington, 28-0. I believe he's just lost. Yes, he did just recently lost Mauricio Lara. That was an upset. I do remember that fight. Kid Galahad gave him a stern test in that matchup. I feel like perfect style fight for Galahad to win himself a world title. Orthodox with very fast hands. He fights well against a southpaw. His last fight was against a southpaw, that being against Claudio Marrero. Fast hands, like very fast. Works the body well. He's super fluid in the way he moves. He's super technical, and honestly, high level stuff from Kid Galahad. The way he moves is just is emphatic. I mean, it's actually really fun to watch. Almost gives me less of the taunting of Prince Nassim Hamed, but the movement, the way he flows, it has that similar-esque to it, like a Nassim Hamed. He's very good, and I'm a fan of him. I like to watch him fight, and I'm very excited to see him fight here. I do think he's going to put a dominant display on Jazza Dickens. I do think he should get the stoppage once again to push his career forward. I would like to see him get a knockout in 8 rounds or less. I'm predicting an 8th or 9th round TKO for him, but I won't be shocked if we see 12 rounds of work here, and Galahad probably winning this fight. If it goes all 12, 9-3, 10-2, at worst 8-4, but I think stoppage is more likely for Galahad. As I mentioned, he's a minus 325 favorite to a plus 250 dog. We'll parlay some things up after we talk about the main event, which I know you guys are all here for the main event. Smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Let me know what you guys think about the boxing predictions, breaking through the full bettable card. Make some dinero off boxing this week as well. But honestly, some good matchups on this card, but the main event is really where it's going to shine. Billy Joe Saunders, Canelo Alvarez, the undefeated Billy Joe Saunders. He's a southpaw, and he's a stern test for Canelo here. I mean, with Billy Joe, he has great distance management, excellent speed and movement. Definitely has had some spotty performances. Sometimes doesn't get the wins as dominantly as he's expected to, but does have an excellent jab. I will say one flaw that I think Canelo will capitalize on. If you see him close distance, sometimes the head's before the body. The head there before the body. The hands a bit low. I think Canelo will see this. He'll counter it. Canelo Alvarez, orthodox, very good defense. Excellent head movement. It allows him to enter in and out of the pocket extremely efficiently. Lots of power in his punches. Canelo hits like a truck. 37 wins by knockout out of the 55. Knocked out Sergey Kovalev. That's a serious knockout win. Has put beatings on a lot of opponents that he's fought. At 168, he looks incredible. Has a massive left hook, and he rips the body extraordinarily well. In my opinion, you're going to see Canelo wear down Billy Joe Saunders, and Canelo will be the first man to defeat him. He wins this fight by knockout in round number 10. Got to give you guys a detailed pick on that because, man, the odds are widespread around the minus 700 to plus 550. We'll look here. We're looking around that pretty much everywhere you go, but they do have props available, thankfully, for this fight here. If you want to maybe take a risk, you throw under 10.5 at plus 150. I do think it's possible, but it could go 12. It could. But if you want to make some money in the boxing, sometimes what you got to do. Alvarez by TKO, KO, or DQ, minus 110. Alvarez by a decision is plus 150. That's not a terrible pickup if it does go the distance, but I could see him getting the stoppage, and obviously the bookmakers are liking the odds of that. I do think he's going to land some nice counters here. If you want to be the Mystic Mac, you go Alvarez wins in round 10. You're looking at plus 1,200. Maybe you throw down he wins round 10, round 9, and round 11 just to give yourself a little safety because I think you really could come through on that. I like the round 10 pickup. I think he wins this fight. Now, you can also bet which rounds Canelo wins. Alvarez wins rounds 1 to 3 at plus 1,000. I think that definitely could deliver for us. Rounds 4 to 6, definitely think that Alvarez winning rounds 7 to 9 is highly likely, and obviously the bookmakers agree 10 to 12. Boxing props are a little different than we're used to in MMA, if you guys are more my MMA guys. But if you're new to the channel and doing boxing, we're covering it now. We can't wait to bet on it, make a little dinero on it. I like the odds of Canelo Alvarez winning rounds 1 to 3, but I also really like the odds of him winning rounds 4 to 6. 7 to 9, I could see Billy Joe getting around in there. I could also see Billy Joe, if he does survive, maybe he could get the 10th, but I think he gets stopped in that 10th round. I really have an inkling about it. Looking at previous fights, looking at the way he overextends himself, I think he's getting knocked out. I'm going Canelo knockout round 10. But now it's time for the parlays to play edition of this video. We're going to talk about some dinero that can be made here with parlays. We went through the full boxing predictions for this bettable card, and now we're going to go through the parlays. Okay, I don't know if you want to throw this on there because, I mean, the odds are not going to be fantastic. Minus 303 for these three. I think that the Keyshawn Davis fight is an absolute lock. The Frank Sanchez fight should be an absolute lock, but it's heavyweight. So let's take it out because it's not going to really do us much favors. I mean, and none of these are really going to do us favors. They're just going to give us risk. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to add Canelo Alvarez with Suleiman Cissokho. And I'm also going to put Kid Galahad for a minus 110. As I said, there's not going to be a ton of dinero you really can make here on these fights because the odds are so widespread, but these three lock favorites are going to deliver for us. I think all the picks are going to be on the money. The odds are just so widespread if you did bring them all out. I mean, what's the odds of somebody landing a fluky punch? And just to make a little bit of money, it's really not worth it, in my opinion, to throw these minus 1,500s down, minus 4,500. I would rather just pick the big three, which I think are locks and proven technicians. If there was props available, I like Sanchez by KO. I think I do like Elwin Soto more so by a decision. I think that's a decent prop. We'll see what happens later on in the week. I'll keep an eye, and maybe I'll throw some things down in the description as more props are released, if they're released. If we want to go riskier parlays and you want to parlay up, maybe you parlay the winners. So we're going to go Suleiman, we're going to go Kid Galahad, and we're going to go Canelo Alvarez wins inside the distance plus 253. Not Alvarez inside the distance plus 180. There's definitely some interesting plays. I am going to, just for the hell of it, just look what this would value at. I mean, plus 1918 if he gets that Mystic Mac stoppage. I would say maybe sprinkle a little something on the round 10 KO because I do think it's possible Canelo has some late stoppages throughout his career. But overall, pretty interesting card. We went through the full bettable card. I didn't really feel like talking about the fights that you couldn't bet on because, I mean, there's a lot of lesser known guys here that just weren't available to throw money down on. We want to make some dinero. I hope you guys enjoy this video. And actually, just noted, as we're doing this video, sad truth, we went through Kid Galahad and Jazza Dickens. We did it all. They just canceled the fight, I guess. I don't know. The fight just got canceled. That's really disappointing for our parlays and stuff. We're going to have to take them off. I guess we'll see what we can get now since Kid Galahad is supposedly not fighting. I guess you guys will find out. We'll see. If we go Canelo with Soliman, minus 219, might be something to note there. I guess we'll find out, man. Boxing is an interesting game, and we'll see what happens. Overall, though, still a pretty decent card. I guess you guys will find out if that Galahad fight was actually canceled or not. Maybe it's tentatively canceled. Maybe there's some issues. We'll find out. This is the first ever full card boxing prediction. Let me know what you guys thought. It's trial and error. We're definitely going to improve time and time again, but we are probably going undefeated on these picks because there's some lock favorites, but hopefully our methods of victory are correct as well. Trying to be the Mystic Mac out here, not just picking the winners in boxing because, I mean, the odds definitely favor one man. But smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Follow my social media, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and I will see you all in the next video.